Yes, it is true. The manga for JoJo's Part 7, Steel Ball Run, is finally out in the US. And all I can say is, this book right here is a definition of peak fiction. I posted a small video the day that it came out when I got it, and a lot of people let me know that apparently France and Italy already got Steel Ball Run, they got JoJolion, and they're getting the JoJo lands right now. I have never felt envy like this, but then again, I'm happy for all the JoJo fans in those countries. The main reason why I'm making this video is because I want to give you guys my thoughts on the first volume of Part 7, in part because I want to talk it with you, but I also want to have something to compare my opinions with when the series is completely published and I am done reading the series. Because I think that JoJo parts are really good at evolving within the parts and changing the opinions in the audience, so what better way to keep a record than with a video. I really don't intend to make an in-depth analysis of a series that is almost 20 years old, so don't expect me to go into themes or breakdowns of the story because I won't. I just want to have a fun little chat about peak fiction. To give some context, Volume 1 contains the first 11 chapters of the series, which include all the introducing chapters and the first stage of the race, ending with Gyro Sepeli winning Stage 1 of the Steel Ball Run. So right off the bat, I feel like Volume 1 kicks off Part 7 in the best way possible. With JoJo, you never really know what to expect at the beginning of each part. I feel like Araki usually goes all out with goofy ideas and ways to introduce the characters and then usually forgets, like Bucciarati leaking Giorno or Jolene getting caught doing some dirty deeds. And I've always loved those moments, but I think that in Part 7, at least so far, the way Araki is doing things is a little bit more meticulous and planned. For me, a good example of this is the introduction of Poco Loco. Goated character, by the way. But the first thing we see him do is count clouds, which immediately tells us like 90% of the character's personality. And then the chapter progresses and it's just him being lazy at work, but then he gets a chance to participate in the Steel Ball Run, and he takes it, which shows me an interesting ambition within the character. I may be looking into it a little too much, but it really did it for me. I don't know what to tell you. My main feeling towards Steel Ball Run right now is excitement. I'm very excited. I love how everything is being set up. I love when stories have a lot of different rules to them. And Part 7 not only has the rules of the race, but in a way it also has all the rules from Stance and Hamon from parts 1 through 6. And I think Araki has to come up with really creative scenarios to not only put us through the rules, but also get us across the rules. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what bro's gonna cook. I mean, if you compare Part 7 to Part 4, which is my favorite part, the first half of Diamond is Unbreakable is just like stupid nonsense, happy fluff. And that works great for what Part 4 was, but I really enjoy seeing all these stakes and all these rules laid out so early into a new JoJo part. It makes it fresh. I like it. As for the characters, I think that Jaido is super cool. I love that us as the reader, we are tasked with solving the mystery of his balls along with Johnny Joestar. This part's JoJo is very interesting as well. I like seeing a broken JoJo that has been tempted and broken. Somewhat similar to Jolene, I guess, but the way she ended up in prison was planned, while Johnny became a cripple out of his own weak personality. So I'm very interested to see where his arc is going to go as the story moves forward. For the side characters, we have Dio, who is as cold as ever, Poco Loco, who I already said he was goated, and Steven Steele, who is a really, really cool character. He's introduced to us as a very powerful man, but he has a lot riding on the Steel Ball Run playing out successfully. And I can totally see that coming into play later in the story, so I'm very interested in Steven Steele. Another character that I'm really loving is Sandman, who is one of the only confirmed stand users to this point. He just wants to buy the land so that his tribe can live in peace. And I've always been a fan of Native American stories like Killers of the Flower Moon, so I'm honestly rooting for him a lot in this race. Now, going back to the stands, I think it's really refreshing that we have only gotten a couple of stands 11 chapters into the story, because I mean, Araki himself said that it was getting out of hand by the end of Stone Ocean, with stands like Made in Heaven. How do you move forward from that?
Made in Heaven!
You can't. So I'm very glad that the narrative is being driven by so many other factors. Also, I'm going to try to predict that the stand that Poco Loco has is somewhat similar to that stand that Rohan gets at the end of Part 4, where it's not his stand per se, but it's the stand that someone else gave him. And I'm assuming it was the fortune teller, but it could be Poco Loco's stand. I just want to throw that in there, and I'll review that when I'm done reading the story. Another thing that I had heard before was that the JoJo manga was like a black and white mess. It is true. It is true. I was having a hard time adjusting my brain to understand what I was looking at for the first couple pages. But I think halfway through chapter 1, I was already golden, and I love the art style, and I love the art for this first volume. If I compare this first stage of part 7 with all the other first stages of all the other parts, I would rank this one really high up there. Maybe with part 5, Golden Wind, on par if not better. But part 7 just feels so fresh and so new that I don't know if I should be making that comparison in the first place. With that said, I think it's pretty obvious to say that I'm very excited for Volume 2 of Steel Ball Run. It comes out later in July, I think, and I'll see you with a respective review when that happens. Let me know in the comments if you have already read Volume 1 of Steel Ball Run, if you bought it now that it's available in the US, or if you finished it, because, I mean, it's a 20-year-old series, so I don't know. As always, it's been a pleasure having you here today. Please subscribe if you haven't. We are a couple, like 100 away from 2,000, which is insane. And I love you all. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.